In this video, I'm going to talk about another tense, and that is past continuous tense. So we have past continuous, or we can also call it progressive tense. Past continuous or progressive tense. Now we can call it past continuous tense, or we can call it past progressive tense. Now, so when do we use past continuous tense and past progressive tense? But before we discuss about the usages, let's discuss about the structure. How can we make the past continuous tense? So in order to make past continuous tense, we have to use subject plus, we use to be verb. Which to be verb we use here? Was, were, plus verb ing. This is the structure of what past continuous tense. We use subject plus was and were plus verb ing. Now this is the structure, positive structure. We know how to change them to negative and also question. So let's discuss about the usages of past continuous tense. What is the definition? When do we use past continuous tense? Past continuous tense, actually, it shows an action. It shows an action. It shows an action that shows an action that was happening. That was happening at the moment. At the moment of another action in the past. Another action in the past. So this one talks about an action that was happening at the moment of another action in the past. We use past continuous tense. Continuous means when the action is in progress. So if in the past that one action was continuing at the moment of another action in the past, we use past continuous tense. For example, if I have a chart here, this is the chart, this is the past form, present, here present, and this is future. If, for example, if one person started sleeping at 10 o'clock, and now here in the past after that, it was 11 o'clock. So the person started, for example, sleeping, and when the person came yesterday here, action of arriving happened. This action was happening and it probably continued after that too. So action of sleeping started at 10 o'clock, and when another person came or arrived at 11 o'clock, that person was sleeping. So it talks about another action. It talks about an action that started in the past and was happening, or that was happening at the moment of another action in the past. Now we use what? Past continuous tense. For example, we can say he was, that is the structure, he was sleeping when, for example, I arrived. Now, so I arrived at 11 o'clock, he started sleeping at 10 o'clock. Now when I arrived, he was sleeping, and his sleeping actually continued after that too. We can use what tense here? Past continuous tense. For example, if it was sleeping, if it, for example, eating, okay, and after that, or for example, let's say eating and here coming, we can say she was eating when he actually called. So this action of eating started before calling, and it continued at the time of calling, and after that it also continued. So we can use what tense? We can use past continuous tense. So let's say again, when do we use past continuous tense? Past continuous tense is used to show or to talk about an action that was happening at the moment of another action in the past, or it was in progress at the moment of another action. Now the second usage, actually, that is the first definition. The second definition, a past continuous tense, actually, it is also used with always. When something was happening actually mostly in the past, we can also use always. For example, we can say he was always coming late. So if this action was happening in the past, we can say he was always coming late, or we can say she was always arguing. In the past, actually, we also used past continuous tense. So this is the most important definition. It talks about an action that was happening at the moment of another action in the past. We can use actually past continuous tense, and we can also use with always and sometimes with other things. Now let's give some examples for past continuous tense and past or past progressive tense. And remember, we don't use past continuous tense with the verbs that do not take ing. We discussed about the rules of adding ing, how to add ing and when we can add ing. So here we do not use it with steady verbs like no, like, love. Okay, we cannot say he was liking or she was liking, and so on and so forth. Now this is how we can use past continuous tense or past progressive tense. So sometimes we also use this subject plus was or were plus going to plus a verb. If we use this structure, this one talks about unfulfilled wish in the past, unfulfilled intention. If you had an intention in the past and you could not fulfill it and could not do it, so we can use this structure. For example, if you say I was going to go to the US. It was my intention in the past and I could not do it. Or we can say she was going to study Chinese. So it is something that she wanted but she couldn't do it. Or we can say they were going to build a company. Actually, it was their intention in the past. They were going to build a company, but they did not do it. So if I use this structure, subject plus was and were plus going to plus a verb, it talks about unfulfilled. That's the first one of the word. It talks about unfulfilled wish in the past, unfulfilled intention in the past. So when you could not do something in the past, and we use what? This is structure. Now this is how we can use past continuous tense in this one too. Now so let's talk about the structures, how we can change them to other forms. If I say a sentence, look, if I say Arzu was reading a book. Now if I say Arzu was reading a book, now in this sentence, this is a positive sentence. How can I change it to negative? So if it's a positive sentence, if I want to change it to negative, I have to use just not after was. Arzu wasn't or was not reading a book. How can I change it to question? If I want to change it to questions, I have to say was Arzu reading a book. And if I want to change it to negative interrogative, so I have to say was Arzu not reading a book. Or if I have another one, if I say was, wasn't or was not Arzu reading a book. Now this is the formal one, this is the informal one. So this is how we can change it to negative, and this is how we can change it to questioned, negative interrogative, and also negative interrogative. Now this is how we can change it to negative, questions, and so on. Now as I said, past continuous tense, in past continuous tense mostly we use when and we use while. So when is mostly used with simple past, and this is mostly used with past continuous tense. I mean, we cannot use past continuous tense with when. So here, for example, I can say when I came, he was watching TV. Now, so we cannot say when I was coming. So we have to say when I came, he was watching TV. He started watching TV in the past. When I came, he was still watching, and it continued after that one too. So here we use went. Or the next went, when she, for example, arrived, when she arrived, her husband was cooking. No, it's simple past. But if I use while can be used with past continuous tense. For example, while I was reading, she was cooking. Or the next one, while he was typing, and then I can say I was reading the sentences. Now in past continuous tense, so we use when and while. When is most used with simple past, and we use the next one is past continuous tense, but while can be used with past continuous tense. So here both of the clauses are past continuous tense, but here this clauses, here we have simple past, but that is past continuous tense. Now these are all the things that we have to know about past continuous tense. So let's recap. So we discussed about past continuous tense or past progressive tense. It talks about an action that was happening at the moment of another action in the past. So we talk about two actions, that one action started earlier than another one and was happening at the moment of another action in the past, and it probably continued after that too. So we can also use past continuous tense for with always sometimes to talk about the repetition of an action. Now the structures we have to use, that is the structure we use was and were plus verb ing, and mostly we use past continuous tense with when and while. Thank you.